Guys, I am now here to do my December TBR. And everyone talks about how crazy December is with the holidays coming and all of that. And it's true. But actually, in years past, December has been a pretty big reading month for me. I think it's because I tend to not read a lot of thick books during the month of December. I tend to read things that are lighter, little novellas or things that are geared towards kids and, things that are sort of holiday themed. So last year I think I read 10 books last year. So yeah, that was pretty good for me. So this is what I plan to read this December. Where You Belong by Emily Giffin. Emily Giffin tends to write women's fiction, sort of chick lit, but more substantial, less fluffy. And this is her sixth book, and I've read them all, and I really, really enjoy her. So I'm looking forward to it. I've already started, but I'm not very far in. And as you can see, I'm pretty late in starting my month of December reading. This is the first book, and I have a lot to get done because I have a rather substantial stack here. And in fact, this one has to be read within the next 2 days because it's due back at the library and there's a waiting list for it. The Sleeping Beauty by Mercedes Lackey, and this is the fifth book in that fairy tale retelling series, The 500 Kingdoms, that I'm always raving about. And as you might have guessed, this one centers around Sleeping Beauty. But I love this series, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder. If you saw my last video, my November wrap-up, then you know that I am reading the books in the Little House series. I thought I had read them all, but I was wrong. There were a couple of books that I hadn't read when I was young, so I decided to read the series again, this time, of course, including the books that I hadn't read, and this is the next one in the series, and I have not read this one. This is an unusual one because unlike most of the books, which are based on Laura's own childhood, this is based on the childhood of Almanzo Wilder, who became her husband. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next, we move into the Christmas-themed books that I plan to read in the month of December. The first one being The Paper Bag Christmas by David Allen Milne. And this book is about two brothers who go to a mall Santa and give him this gigantic list of everything they want. But it turns out that this Santa is actually an oncologist, and he tells the brothers that instead of getting everything on their list, they're going to be enlisted to work in a children's ward at a local hospital. I'm guessing there are some lessons that are learned there. Christmas After All, The Great Depression Diary of Minnie Swift by Catherine Lasky. This is part of the Dear America series, which is a juvenile series. This is all about, obviously, Christmas during the Great Depression. The Book of Holiday Awesome by Neil Pasricha. Probably butchered that. I have not actually read the other Book of Awesome books. There's the Book of Awesome and the Book of More Awesome, but I definitely want to pick those up at some point. And until then, I have the Holiday Awesome, and what's more awesome than the holidays, right? The Gift by Cecilia Ahern, and I know that this author typically writes chick lit novels. I've never actually read any of them, but I know that she wrote P.S. I Love You, which I love the movie. But this is not a chick lit novel. This is actually about a man named Lou who has lost the connection with his family and his friends and has lost the spirit of Christmas. And he meets a homeless man named Gabe who I think helps him find himself. I'm thinking this is sort of in the vein of It's a Wonderful Life, but we'll see. Next, I'm going to be listening to an audiobook, the first audiobook that I've ever listened to, and it is The Stupidest Angel by Christopher Moore. I have never read anything by Christopher Moore, but I know so many people who just love him, and I figured this would be a good way to sort of jump into his writing, but obviously from a different point of view since it is an audiobook. This particular one is narrated by Tony Roberts, who has done some Woody Allen films, and he's been on Broadway. And I was unsure about which audiobook to go with, but I read a lot of reviews for this particular one, and it's gotten really great reviews, and apparently everyone really loves Tony Roberts' narration of this book. So I'm looking forward to it, new thing, audiobook, so I'll let you know. And then the last book that I have on my December TBR pile is a very special book. It is The First Christmas Tree and the Story of the Other Wise Man by Henry Van Dyke. And this particular book is special because this is my St. Nicholas book this year. For those of you who are sort of new subscribers, or at least have not been subscribers of mine since last year, my mom and I have a very special tradition where she gives me a Christmas book every St. Nicholas Day, which is December 6th. And I made a video last year of all the St. Nicholas Day books that I've gotten over the years, so I'll put a link to that video in the down bar, but this is this one. I was going to do an unwrapping for you guys, but I just did not have time this week. So this is it. I'm really looking forward to it. You can see my mom's little inscription there, but this is a very special tradition between the two of us, and I just love it. It's something that I'm definitely going to continue with my kids if I ever have any, you know. So that is my December TBR pile. I'm really looking forward to all of these. I hope I get to them all. We'll see. I want to know all about what you guys are reading this month, and if you've read any of the books that I'm planning on reading, what you thought of them. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! I can already tell you one awesome thing about the holidays. The peppermint mocha is back. Yes!